Hi everyone, this is Kelly with Kelly Ann Crafts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in McKinney, Texas, and this is our second card for the month of December. It is a fun fold. We are going to have to do some cutting online, in the video today, and we're going to do some heat embossing, so that should be fun. We like to mix it up here a little bit, here and there, so that's what we're going to do. We are using some online exclusive products that were released in November. This one is called Petals of Beauty Sweet, and this is the paper. The paper is absolutely glorious. It's a bunch of beautifully painted roses and other flowers in beautiful warm colors. I just really like this one. Um, let's see here. There's other colors in there besides that. So you've got the roses. Let's see. Got littler roses with the beige. You've got, this is a really pretty one with like the pussy willows. This is a beautiful one. There's so many pretty papers, but we're actually using this one that's up in front. And let me get to where I can show you what we're doing. Um, we are making this particular card. It's a wonderful fun fold. It looks like a Z card, and if it does, I mean, there is a part of it that is a Z fold, which isn't too terribly hard. But what we've done is like, oh, you open that up. Where do I write? Oh, that's kind of weird. Do I write around the embellishments? No, you flip it open, and then we've done a little embellishment in white down here. This is where our heat embossing is. If you have white pigment ink, that's what we're using, and then putting embossing uh, powder on top and embossing that. You can also stamp it with a color flower if that is what you choose to do, or put leaves there. For our envelope, we are using just the leaf, so that is also an option. The leaf and the flowers come out of the Petals of Beauty, and we're using this flower and this leaf set. We are also using the Just a Note out of this Just a Note stamp set that has gone to the last chance. So quantities on this are limited, and I apologize if you're seeing this and it is already sold out. But we're using just this one little phrase here. Perhaps you want to find another Just a Note in your stash to use, or maybe you change it to a birthday card. We are also going to be using these traditional dies. Um, this is also on the last chance, unfortunately. I love these dies. They are so pretty and they're great for sentiments. And we're going to layer this particular die with the inner die. So it's these two inner ones in the center here to make our beautiful card. And you'll see those dies right here. I just love the detail. And this is actually can be lifted, but I just love the detail of that. So let me show you what our kit's going to include. Our kits, of course, are going to have this beautiful envelope, which we will stamp later. You will have a card base. Your card base is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. Now you can score it here at 2 1/8, which I have done for my kits, but you don't need to score it if you don't want to fuss with the measurement. You're just going to take this half and fold it back onto itself, creating that Z fold, lining it up, and then smoothing it out to get your nice crisp edge. Okay, so that's how that is folded. You should also have in there your two pieces for your sentiment, the base and the part we're going to stamp. And you should have a piece of basic beige that is 4 inches. I'm just making sure it is 4 inches. And I don't know what I did with this kit, but um, I just cut paper, and I think on some of these I forgot to cut them the right size. But this one, it should be 4 inches by 5.25 when it's folded. So when it's out, it is going to be 10 inches, scored at 5.25. And I'm going to recheck my measurement here. I now am at 4 and 5 1/4, so this is correct. We're going to stamp and emboss here, but before we get to all of that, I'd like to cut the designer series paper. So the designer series paper is 5 inches by 5 1/4. And if you have a design, you kind of want one that's non-dimensional or directional, not dimensional, directional. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut across this paper. And I am going to start with what goes on the inside of my card. And here, let me pull this in. So this is my inside of my card. So I'm going to cut this piece first, or this piece first, and then these two pieces will be cut out of balance. Okay. Those measurements for each one of those pieces are as follows: 1 1/4, 1 7/8, 1 7/8, and that's for your designer series paper. Okay, to do that, because this side here on my trimmer happens to only be 1 1/2 inches from the cutting blade to the edge, so I can't measure it that way. I have my 5-inch piece here, this 5 1/4 this way, and I'm going to move this so it's at the 1 1/4 mark. And I'm going to cut, and then I'm going to go to 1 7/8, and I'm going to cut, and these two should be the same size. They are, miraculously. I'm a little OCD, so I like them all to kind of match up in the actual card as it goes across. I'm going to set that there. So if you're looking at this card really carefully, you will see that these two panels match up. So this leaf is continued here, and these leaves are the parts that came off of here. This piece actually belongs over here, and that bothered me, so I wanted to make sure I was cutting it in the right order. If you don't care, I don't care. It was just me being OCD about it. So again, your measurements are 1 1/4, 1 7/8, 1 7/8. This is 5 1/4 long, 5 1/4 long, 5 1/4 long. And it came from a 5 by 5 1/4 piece of designer series paper. Okay, so I'm just going to put those together like that, put my trimmer off to the side. We are going to do some stamping real fast. I'll just put this over here. I'm going to do some stamping and some heat embossing. The first thing we're going to do is our envelope and our sentiment, because those are pretty easy to do. They're used with the green, and I'm using Mossy Meadow. And so let me get that open. And I'm going to start with just a note. Again, when you're using these stamp pads, just stamp, 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 stamp lightly. You don't have to, if you tilt, you get what I just did, you get that ring. So I have to be very careful when I put this down that I don't tip it, because if I tip it, I'm going to get a ring around what I wrote, what's being written. So I just want to go straight down, straight up, and see I've got a slight little ring there. You can come in with one of these little erasers, and if you're really good, you can pretty much get that up. If it doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother you. Don't worry about it. See that was on there pretty light. I was able to get that off. It just roughed it up. Sometimes it's in a spot where I just have to put an embellishment, and that's what you do. You just put an embellishment. And now we're going to do our leaves onto here. And that part is all done. And I will put those off to the side for right now. I'm going to put my ink pad off to the side. It needed to be hydrated. My Mossy Meadow likes to be funny, so I just let it be funny someplace else. Okay, and now we're going to stamp the inside of our basic beige, and I'm going to use white pigment ink. Now, this is a sticky ink. It takes a while to dry, and that's why we're using it. Okay, but you will see now I'm really inking this up. I'm inking it up really, really good. And I'm going to set this down here, but you will see that once I lift it up, it's hardly noticeable. So to make it so it pops, I'm going to put it in here. Oops. And I'm going to put embossing powder on it. And that's pretty good. And I am going to emboss that. I am going to emboss it. I have an embossing gun off to the side. So this is out of the camera shot. So I do apologize for that. But it takes just a minute or so to emboss it. And once I get it done, it'll look really, really nice. And the best part is if I could do this on camera, you could see the magic of it coming to life. I just love looking at embossing powder working up. There we go. So look at the difference. Isn't that great once we embossed it? I love that part. And I just had my heat gun was on the cord didn't reach underneath the camera. So I do apologize for doing that off screen on you. So that's done. We've got our other things. So now we're pretty much ready to assemble our card. We've got our envelope. We've got this. I can put that with that. I've got my pieces of designer series paper. The first thing I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to adhere this designer series paper onto my base here. Okay. And I am going to use some glue because I really want it to match up nicely. So I said I was going to change out my glue after the last video and I didn't. So if I run out of glue, that's my bad. I want this to go right up to the edge. Right up to the edge, and to make sure it's there, I kind of line it up and then tap it on the table. Now you can see that for some reason my paper seems to be longer. That's the case. I just come in from behind and I just trim it. It's just happens sometimes when you fold it. It's not always perfect. And then I am going to adhere this to the inside of my card. You can use any adhesive for this. You do not have to glue. I just have the glue out, so we're using it. Well, we'll see. Let's hopefully it will do a good job of adhering itself. It's going to be about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. You want a nice little border there. I think that's looking pretty good. And I just hold it really still, and then I come in from the back and I grab a bone folder. There's one probably right under my nose here and I just am not seeing it, so we just grab a different one. Put that over there. And that is the inside of my card. And now we're going to adhere these two, and I just want to make sure I'm putting the right ones in the right spot. See how it all just matches up? I love that. This doesn't have to have glue on it. For this, we can use our seal, which I put in front of me. So let's go here. Now, one thing with this paper pack, you can see the back of this paper is kind of a mossy old olive green mixture of colors. It would make a really good man's card. So even though the front part of it is a floral, please look at it and say, hey, I can use that for men too. And for whatever reason, I don't know why I'm having trouble tonight. It's because I want to do this in one take And I'm already on take 2. So guess we are going to have to do it like, oh my goodness. This really, really, really decided to peel up. That's okay because that will get covered. But I am going to re-adhere this. Sometimes people just don't know what's underneath your designer series paper, and that's okay. This is one time when I am going to pull out some glue and throw it underneath there, because if I tried to use a tape runner on that right now, it would rip even more. And we are not going to rip it. We're just going to make sure, do I have that in the right spot? Yes, I do. That looks right. I'm just going to go right there. There we go. You'll never know that that happened unless you looked at my video. So instead of showing you how to make cards, what I'm showing you is how to fix my mistakes tonight. I am filming this at night. Normally I film early in the day. Maybe that's the issue. I should do it first thing in the morning when I've just had my tea and I'm not all full from dinner. Do you ever find that when you get full from dinner, you're kind of like half asleep? It's kind of how I'm feeling right now. Okay, let me put this together. This is the easiest part of the whole thing. You just want to have a nice little rim around it. That looks good. Now, for this, you want to just make sure that you are only putting adhesive on the half that is going to be on here. So that is right here. So I'm looking at this halfway through. This is the side I need adhesive on. And just all the way up to that halfway mark. That's it. Then decide where you want it to be. I went a little bit higher than the middle, not much, very close, but right about there. And then we're going to come in with these embellishments. I love these embellishments. They are called Pearls of Beauty, and they're part of this suite. And so they have like an iridescent white, and then they have this beige that's iridescent. I use the iridescent beige because I just thought that was just a fun change of pace on my original card. But you certainly could use the white, but I think it would pop out too much. That was my opinion. I don't know. Tell me what you think. I mean, I will hold one there and you tell me what you think. I think that's just a little bit too much of a contrast because this is so creamy. So that's why I went with the other. So I just put them any old place I want. There's really no rhyme or reason. The only thing I do is I make sure I do them in odd numbers. So if I do 1, that's okay. If I do 3, that's okay. 4 doesn't look balanced to me. And so right now that looks, oh, pretty cool. And then you open it up, and then you open it up like this, and you've got your flowers on the inside, and a lot of places to write. You've got your envelope that's all done, and your envelope that's all done to go with the original card, and we have done it. Yay, we got through that, all my mistakes included. I hope you enjoyed this, because sometimes it's good to see how human I am when I do these cards, because I'm sure everybody else makes these same mistakes, like forgetting to cut down the paper, or some of the other things I have done. Anyways, I want to thank you all for joining me this evening. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a like and share it with some friends. If you would like to subscribe, I would truly appreciate that. If you'd want to drop me a comment on being human in card making like I am, feel free. I would love to hear your comments. Again, thank you again, and have a blessed evening. Bye-bye.